Perfect. Hi, so I'm Chelsey Heath. I'm with the Trisolute News Dashboard. And so basically all you guys need to know, though, is I'm obsessed with news SEO, or search engine optimization. That's like my favorite thing in the world. So I want to convince all journalists that like SEO is an important part of how you get your traffic. And so today what I wanted to talk about specifically is voice search and how that might change in the next 10 years. So you guys have probably seen, if you use like Google Assistant or you use Alexa, that folks are using that to order things, and folks are using that also to look up news. So that's one way that people are accessing news content, is by talking to their assistant or talking to Alexa, asking them maybe for things about the elections or checking the traffic, kind of the local and regional stories that most publishers are covering, and then also national and international stories that they want to know about as well. So just a couple of stats about voice search, if it's not kind of something that you guys are familiar with. Right now, 50% of smartphone users use voice search at least somewhat in their lives, and 1 out of 3 people use voice search daily. So if you think about your readership, that's kind of where they are at with voice search right now. They do predict that by 2020, 50% of searches are going to be voice searches and by pictures. So for folks that are mostly in search with their articles, that's definitely something to think about. Of course, if you have video, that kind of fits in a little bit better, so also something to think about. So the typical voice search result when you ask a question on voice search is only 29 words. So if you've written a story that's more than 29 words, which most are, I would say, then that can be a little bit of a challenge to make sure that people are getting the full story and are getting the context that comes with that story. So kind of my big idea around voice search, or where I'd like to see it go, and where I'd like to think that the search audiences who use voice search to look for news would like it to go, is having more of a conversation. So voice search is designed to have a very natural conversation with your Google Assistant or whatever you use. And I'd like to sort of take that idea and make it a conversation between someone looking for news and the reporter who's reporting it. So instead of asking your phone a question about news and having it just kind of say, well, I can read this story to you, it would actually be like the reporter from that news outlet would have recorded the answers to some of the questions and would actually kind of have that conversation through that platform with the reader. So that would be a great way to build audience trust. That would be a great way to have brands, both individual and as a news organization. So I think that's some ways that it could help. And I just think, for reporters, it would be fun to have that kind of conversation. Obviously, podcasting is also taking off and is kind of in that medium. So I think that we'll probably see like some combination of those as well in the future. And I think also we could take it a step further. So beyond having like the conversation between a search user and a reporter, you could also maybe involve like commenters and other readers on the site. And so they could also use voice search to kind of have a conversation about the news beyond what's in an article. So kind of the main point that I want you guys to take away is don't be afraid of voice search as a journalist. It's something that obviously is growing and is taking off. And I think it would be good if you guys started now. So if you kind of thought about ideas about how do you reach search audiences who are using voice search, and how do you maybe think about making that a conversation with the reader instead of just having the phone or the Alexa read a story at you, you would definitely have more of a conversation. Okay. So that's pretty much it for me. Thank you for listening to me. I really appreciate it.